What's up, guys? It's Mian. I'm back with another video, and I'm back with my NXT Stand and Deliver predictions. Last year, it was a two-night show, being that WrestleMania is a two-night show. This year, it's going to be before night one of WrestleMania, starting at noon Eastern, which is crazy to me, but hey. Yeah, I'm going to give you my predictions on this, and we'll see how it goes. This is the first time I've predicted an NXT pay-per-view, but so here we go. Before we get into it, though, please make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts down below, and make sure to have post notifications turned on so you don't miss out on future uploads. I'm planning on having a bunch of content coming up, especially through the weekend, WrestleMania week and all that. No NXT Stand and Deliver live reaction, though, stream that is. And also no Xfinity Series NASCAR race review video, because both will be happening while I'm at work. So, I won't get to see much of either. So, with all that being said, and one other thing, please make sure to check out the mock draft I dropped earlier today. Now, with all that said, let's go ahead and let's get into the match card. So we have 7 matches, 6 on the main show, 1 on the pre-show. And I'm starting with the pre-show match, of course, and I've got a rant. So, Toxic Attraction defending the women's tag titles against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Let that sink in for a moment. Now, I have no problem with it being on the pre-show because the rest of the card is absolutely stacked between the ladder match for the North American title, the Fatal 4-Way for the women's title, the triple threat for the NXT men's tag titles, Dolph versus Braun for the NXT, title, LA Knight and Walter, and Tommaso Ciampa's final match in NXT, which he announced today. That's what it would be. So, you're not taking LA Knight and Walter and putting that on the pre-show. That's the one match you might do that to, but no, you wouldn't do that. So, that's fine. My issue, and it's not with the wrestlers themselves, it's with the concept of them being the challengers, but it's with the challengers themselves. Alright, so, first of all, you've completely nullified the Women's Dusty Road Classic Tag Team Tournament, as if it shouldn't have happened at all. I'll give credit where credit is due. Booking EO and KLR to win the tournament, and then use that tag title shot to make that to make the women's match at Stand Deliver a fatal 4-way, that was a genius move. I'm not so mad about that as I might have been last week. That's actually genius, in my opinion. The problem is, the team that is going to be facing Toxic Attraction for the tag titles, you have completely ignored all continuity whatsoever. And I get it, that's what WWE does, but this is some serious shit to me. So first of all, I want to get this out of the way. The tag title shot should have defaulted to Jacy and Caden. Why? Well, again, EO and KLR, they vacated the tag title shot to use it to enter the women's match for the women's title. So in theory, the team that they beat, Wendy and Dakota, would then get the tag title shot. It should default to them. However, Wendy disappeared during the show. Dakota found her stuff, but did not find Wendy. So therefore, with her missing, the tag title shot would then default to one of the 2 teams from the semifinals. Because Raquel had been taken out in hers and Cora's match against Wendy and Dakota, and hadn't been on NXT until tonight when she came back, then the tag title shot would then default to Jacy and Caden, because they were the team that had to lose to EO and KLR for them to even be in the finals. And they're your longest tenured women's tag team in the NXT women's division, and the only other full-time tag team you've got that is a credible challenger to the champions, other than the champions, because you broke up Indy and Persia. So, therefore, it should be Toxic Attraction against Jacy and Caden for the women's tag titles. Instead, Raquel comes back, Dakota's all giddy about, Raquel being back, and that's another problem. Continuity has been lost yet again. I get it, it's WWE. this is the shit that they pull, but I'm actually pissed about this because it's like you've completely negated everything that has happened between them previously. Remember, they feuded last year. Dakota got sick and tired of being Raquel's sidekick, essentially speaking, and challenged her. And look, say what you will, Dakota should have beaten Raquel at TakeOver 36 last year. I believe that's where the match happened. But she should have beaten Raquel for the women's title, or the NXT women's title, at TakeOver 36. She should have. The fact that you had Raquel retained there is bullshit. So then Dakota goes away for a while. She finally comes back and costs Raquel the NXT women's title to Mandy in her match against Mandy. So you have that. You have the feud. You have the comeback. And now it's like all is forgiven? Like, huh? Now, I understand Dakota did show concern when Raquel was getting beaten up by Toxic Attraction during her and Cora's match against Dakota and Wendy in the second round. I understand that. That shouldn't have happened, though. Dakota should have ignored Raquel and kept going with the match because yes, Wendy and Dakota won anyway. I mean, Cora's only one woman. She can't, it's a tag match. But the thing is, if you're going to keep continuity together, then Dakota should not have shown concern in that moment for Raquel. And then tonight, she should not have been so happy to see Raquel again, because essentially what this divulges into is this concept that Dakota will always be second best to Raquel, and that is bullshit. Again, Dakota should have beaten Raquel at TakeOver 36 for the women's title. You've now put Dakota in a spot where at least the way I see it, WWE seems to see that Dakota will always be second best to Raquel. And I think fans might feel the same way. Not all, but some. And that's not fair to Dakota because she's a damn good fucking wrestler. And so is Raquel. But again, Dakota should not be looked at as second best to Raquel in the eyes of WWE. Fucking bullshit. As far as the match itself goes, Toxic Attraction retained. I don't see Dakota and Raquel winning. At all. Like, yeah, I get it. You're bringing Raquel back because Toxic Attraction took her out. But, again, Casey and Kaden should have been in this match. They should have. At least make it a triple threat. Like, come on. But anyway, like I said, Toxic Attraction, they retain. So now we get to the main show. LA Knight versus Walter is going to be the first match I'm going to go over. This, honestly, I think could go either way. And I think part of it might be depending on what you want to do with LA Knight moving forward. If they have him move up to the main roster, maybe he wins to look strong. Maybe he loses and puts Walter over before moving up. But if you plan on keeping LA Knight in NXT, then maybe the feud continues and Walter wins anyway. I'm going to take Walter for the win, but I'm interested to see what happens moving forward. Next match I want to look at, the Women's Fatal 4-Way. Mandy Rose defending her title against Cora, Io, and KLR. This could go a few ways. And I'm actually glad that this is a Fatal 4-Way and not a straight-up match between Mandy and Cora, because, no offense, Cora ain't ready yet. She ain't ready to hold the title yet. She needs more time. She's a very good wrestler. She's young as fuck. She's got plenty of career ahead of her. But if Mandy's going to lose the title, it's going to be to either KOR, Kaylee Ray, or Io Shirai. It's not going to be to Cora. Maybe Cora pins either Io or KLR to win the title, kind of like how Dolph pinned Ciampa to win Braun's title at Roadblock. And then Mandy could go after Cora saying it was a fluke and that Cora never pinned Mandy. But it It just doesn't feel right to put the title on Cora right now. It's kind of like how when Braun first came in, they didn't put the title on him automatically. You know, they had him lose at first to Ciampa, I think. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm having a false memory or some shit because I know War Games was mixed in there. But the point is, they didn't put the title on Braun automatically, and Braun still got it anyway. You don't have to put the title on Cora right now. Give her a little more time, and you can put it on her down the road. As far as who wins, I hate to say it, but I think Mandy retains. If it was a straight-up match, just her and Cora, she absolutely retains. With Io and KLR in the mix, it makes it a little more interesting, and there's a possibility that maybe Io or KLR win. Io, I'm leaning more towards Io's getting moved up after WrestleMania, I hope. So I would like to see Kaylee Ray win the title. You know, she held the title at NXT UK. She should get a chance to hold the title in NXT. But I think for right now, Mandy retains. Next, the men's tag title triple threat, Imperium versus the Creeds versus MSK. This has been some interesting booking. All right, so the Creeds won the tag title tournament, or the Dusty Classic tournament. But the night they were going to face Imperium, they got ambushed, so MSK was put in there, but then it was a DQ because the Creeds got involved, which then led to the triple threat. And then there's this other team that seemingly has been attacking. Like, first they ambushed the Creeds, and then they took out Diamond Mine's trading room. So we don't know who that is yet. It's not MSK, that's for sure. So I don't know where this is going to go. Part of me, again, this is one where I could see the chance retaining, but I could also see one of the other two teams winning. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to say the Creeds win the tag titles here. I'm going to say they win them. It's a risk of a pick because there's a good chance Imperium could retain, but I'm going to take the Creeds here. I think they get it done. So next, we have the North American title ladder match. Carmelo Hayes defending against Santos Escobar, Solo Sikoa, Grayson Waller, and Cameron Grimes. Grimes winning his last chance qualifier match tonight. This is gonna be an amazing match. They basically, in storyline allowed Carmelo to book this thing, with the qualifying matches, and then coming out and giving Cameron, Roderick Strong, and A-Kid, the last chance qualifier, which is awesome. Cameron, as I said, he won it. And I just get this vibe, like, I think Cameron wins this, honestly. Like, I'm going to take Cameron to win this ladder match. You have the promo he gave backstage last week, talking about, wanting, to win the title. And, I think, also talking about his dad and things like that. And then you see how he reacted tonight when he won the last chance qualifier match. I think he goes into this ladder match and he wins it. It's good because you don't have you don't have any of these guys pinning Cameron, so Cameron can stay strong, even though he lost the title in the ladder match. But he and Cameron can feud over the said title. Maybe Carmelo wins it back down the road. And I'll be honest with you, I want to see that feud. That would be really nice. So, or hey, maybe, depending on what happens between Dolph and Braun, Carmelo could be the next guy to step up for the NXT title. Who knows? But I'm going to take Cameron Grimes to win this match. To win the North American title in this ladder match. So that leaves us with 2 matches left to go. 2. I held my fingers sideways. And I'm gonna take a look at Tommaso Ciampa versus Tony D'Angelo. Tommaso Ciampa's final match in NXT. He said it tonight. It's going to be his last match in NXT, and this match is gonna, as far as I'm concerned, it's gonna be an amazing final match for him. My question is Ciampa retiring, or is he moving up to the main roster? Part of me thinks he's gonna move up, probably gonna be on Raw. Part of me thinks he might retire, or maybe he just goes away for a while, because, I don't know. Like, we'll see what happens, but because this is going to be his final match in NXT, you want all the pomp and circumstance you can have for this. I do think he loses, though. And the only reason why I say that is because he's gonna put over Tony D'Angelo, and it's gonna be the same as he did with Braun, putting Tony over. And, I don't want to say necessarily it's a passing of the torch thing. I think that was more so with Braun. But it's a little bit the same with D'Angelo, because, D'Angelo is part of the future. And I think he's going to give Tommaso one hell of a final match in NXT. So I think D'Angelo wins with Ciampa putting him over. But if Ciampa does win in his last match, that would be pretty cool. But I do have D'Angelo winning, though. So then that leads us to what will probably be the main event, Dolph Ziggler versus Braun Breaker for the NXT title. It's crazy that Dolph has the championship. Of course, he pinned Ciampa at Roadblock to win it, so that kept Braun strong. And I think all signs point to Braun winning it back. Part of me wondered if the reason why he lost the title, was because he was going to get called up, like, before WrestleMania. I don't see that happening now. I think he might still stay down there a little bit. And the other reason why I think he'll win, both his dad, Rick, and I would assume Scott is like his uncle or something like that. But the Steiner brothers are going in the WWE Hall of Fame, which is a crazy thing to say because of everything Scott Steiner has said about WWE, about Steph, about Vince, since he left the company. But once again, when it comes to WWE and Vince, it seems like anybody can mend bridges, and oh my god, I cannot wait for Scott's induction speech, because please reference Steiner math. I hope he does. I really do. But with that said, though, the other thing I hope for is that both Rick and Scott will be in the crowd, to see Braun in this match, because, Rick was there in the crowd when Braun won the title. It would be really cool for both Rick and Scott to get to see him win it back in person. And that's what I have happening. I think Braun will get his title back in front of his dad, in front of his uncle. I believe Scott's his uncle. I don't know. Family shit. But he's gonna win it in front of his family. And it's gonna be a massive win for him. And I can't wait to see what happens afterwards. So once again, running through all my predictions, Toxic Attraction retains the NXT Women's Tag Titles on the pre-show. LA Knight, or Walter defeats LA Knight. I had to think about that for a moment. So yeah, Toxic Attraction retains. Walter defeats LA Knight. Mandy retains in the Fatal 4-Way. The Creed brothers win the NXT Tag Titles. Cameron Grimes wins the North American title in the ladder match. Tony D'Angelo defeats Tommaso Ciampa in Ciampa's final NXT match. And Braun wins the NXT title back from Dolph Ziggler. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.